Morning, boys and girls. It's Tuesday, the 5th of March, 2019. Welcome to this morning's United Kingdom talk, coming to you from Bracknell in Royal Berkshire. I see Adam the plumber is already upset this morning because his other half, Royston, has got the first message in. Oh! Oh, that'd create a row or two in the house, wouldn't it? Adam does like to try and get the first message in the morning, don't you, Adam? Whose mum's birthday is your mum, isn't it? Just a moment, please. Let me just double check that here. Yes, Adam's mum's birthday today. 80 years old today. That's not a bad age. That is only, incidentally, you can tell your mum from me, that is only just into old age. Old age now doesn't start till 80. It's not 50. It's not 60, it's not even 70. It's 80 years old. You're not old now until you get to 80 years old. So happy birthday. What a shame you didn't tell me her name. Why didn't you tell me her name? I could have added her to our little list of names, special names at the end of the show where we sing our birthday messages too. You haven't told me her name, just my mum. Well, I think that's disgusting. You need to be telling us her name as well. Thank you very much. Well, good morning, gang. I was shocked and horrified to find that I'd held on to my receipt from Five Guys here. Here it is. Look. There it is. This is from the other day. Can you read that? Look at that. £38.15 for two burgers. Delicious food, lovely staff, clean, no complaints. But 38 quid for burger, 2 burgers, 2 chips, 2 milkshakes and a Coke. That's it. 38 quid. In King's Cross. Never again, dear. I'm sorry. That is too much to spend on a burger, don't you think? Go. There's a McDonald's across the road. Admittedly, or you could be saying now, well, why didn't you just go to McDonald's? Because we like the food there. It's quite nice. I like the Cajun fries. Very spicy. They burn the inside of your mouth as you shove them in there. Yes. It's Pancake Day today, of course. Pancake Day. This is, what is Pancake Day? Well, it's the day before Lent. And Christians are supposed to give up stuff for Lent. Please don't give up watching this programme. Please. I can't afford to lose numbers, dear. But Christians are supposed to give up things for Lent. And in days gone by, milk, eggs and flour were 3 items that were used a lot in those days. Perhaps not so much now, but nevertheless, they were the items. So they would use them up all to make pancakes on the day before Lent. And then tomorrow is Lent, Ash Wednesday, okay? Which is when you start giving up those things. I have made my list of things that I may give up, but I shall be giving up this year. I shall be referring to that later on, boys and girls. I'm afraid that my darling Maureen, lovely Maureen, this will affect your sandwiches, I'm afraid. I know how much you like doing it, but I have to do this every year. It's very important to me, okay? So this will affect your delicious sandwiches, and I must whip myself as well. I haven't got anything to whip myself in here with. Regular punishment. Anyway, these headphones will do. But just a minute. I must whip myself regularly over the back like that. Every morning I must do that for Lent in future for the shows. Please remind me if I don't whip myself early into the show each day. I must do it again now, darling. Just practicing for tomorrow. There we are. I've whipped myself. There we are. Okay? And I shall make a list of things. Are you giving up anything for Lent? That is my question to you this morning. Do let us know if you are giving up anything for Lent, or if you think it's a load of old balderdash, then just keep quiet. But if you are giving up something for Lent, do let me know this morning. Let me now refer to our many millions of messages that are flying across the internet into my little box of messages here in the Berkshire television studio complex known as United Kingdom. And as I say, Royston is the first message of the day. Good morning, Royston. There's Adam the plumber, the other half, who's not happy. He's not happy at being second this morning. Good morning to Gary Butler. Now, that's Gary there. That's my nephew. And he's... Gary, can you post the picture of your face? Would you be happy to do that on there so that people can see it? Gary had an operation yesterday, which I didn't know about. I didn't know about it until my sister said, oh, Gary's in the hospital. What's that for? He's having a nose operation. Now, remember, he was having a nose operation, but I didn't remember when it was. And it was yesterday. I didn't even know. Basically, no, he's not got a dodgy nose. It's not my nose needs doing. Look how big that is. I'm not a believer in doing things to your body unless they are life-saving. Admittedly, years ago, I had my teeth pulled back. Hello, my name's Chris. They used to be like that. But to other bits and pieces, unless you have to have them done. Well, Gary, one of his nostrils was blocked. So they performed some sort of operation, and he sent me a photograph of himself this morning, and his face is all bloody around the nose. Looks like his wife's beat him up. And you see, I've got this thoughts on domestic violence, like my nephew has clearly received from his wife recently in the last few days due to the bloody nose. And the idea I've got in my head is, if you did what you was told, it wouldn't happen, would it, Gary? You know, if you go out and wash up when you're told to wash up and hoover the house, then you won't get a bloody nose. I'm sorry, that's how it is. That is the problem with domestic violence. People aren't doing as they're told. So make sure, Gary, you do as you're told, and you won't get a black eye next time, will you? All right? Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, they've done sort of some operation to open up the nostril or free it or whatever was wrong with it there. Breathing through one nostril. Unfortunately, for the next few days, he's got to breathe through his mouth, which he's finding difficult. I suppose that would be, wouldn't it? Because we're not used to doing that. Oh, we're just breathing through your mouth. I mean, it would be easy for your wife to put a piece of tape over your mouth and then you would suffocate to death. Oh, my God. Be very careful. I'd sleep in a locked room, Gary, if I were you. Sleep in a locked room. Absolutely. Lock the room. Don't let anyone in there. And sleep on your back. Got to sleep through his poor mouth open. Oh, it must be awful. Hope you get well soon, all right? Let's have a look. Good morning to Gustav. Good morning, Gustav. Welcome. Craig is in the house. Craig is listening as he briskly walks back from eating his dead animal, an Egg McMuffin. You enjoy that dead animal. Why haven't they got vegan Egg McMuffins? Oh, and hang on. Vegans don't do eggs, do they? They don't do eggs. Good morning to Mr. Vectis Humpty. Good morning, Vectis Humpty, from Vectis Radio, Isle of Wight's most listened to and popular station. And Vectis and his lovely daughter, and his son as well, I think sometimes, host the show on Sunday, which is the most listened to radio show now on the Isle of Wight. Absolutely. There are 4 people listening to that now. 4. So congratulations, Vectis, on becoming the most listened to radio station on the Isle of Wight. Talking of radio stations, yesterday, of course, was the launch of the new radio station over the UK, Scala, which is a classical music station, but with personality. You know, they're not just sort of playing the music. There's bits in between, which, of course, I like. I like the bits in between the music. And I listened to Simon Mayo yesterday, which was excellent. Some Girl at Night, and there's some really popular tunes that I haven't heard for years that came up yesterday on the show. Stuff that I'm not a classical music expert by any sort, but stuff by Bach and Mozart, and it's when they say, oh yeah, that was Bach. Yeah, but if I heard it, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And it was some wonderful that one. Oh yes. And we had the Hovis advert. And lots of other ones like that. It's very good. Give it a go. It's on digital. You might have to retune your digital radios in. And, of course, on the internet as well. They've got an app as well. And it's worth a listen to. Honestly, it is worth a listen to. I quite like the way they're throwing it together. And they've got... the jingles are amazing. It's all orchestral. And it always finishes with the word Scala. Scala. Like that. I love it, dear. I love it. So I'm listening to that at the moment. And to be honest... I was a talk radio LBC listener, and it's nice. It's actually nice to get away from the news. I have to say that. The depressing news about these knife crimes that are going on all over the place, and Brexit and this and politics. It's actually nice not to have it on at all in the car. I think there's probably a lot to say about being informed about things going on all over the place. But you know what? It was just nice that, and I had it on all the way coming into London yesterday and all the way coming out last night. I didn't have the news on at all. Didn't put the news on until I got back home and had a cup of tea before I went to bed. And it was nice to listen to it. Do give it a go. There's 3 classic stations now, as I mentioned yesterday. You've got Radio Free, that's very highbrow, okay? There's Classic FM, which is kind of, it's very laid back, not exciting. It's just laid back all the time. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just laid back. And this one is more. It's more done like perhaps a pop music station, but with classical music. It's very clever. Very clever what they've done there. I did hear a couple of mistakes last night, but who doesn't make mistakes? Huh? I mean, you haven't heard me playing the organ at church yet. Okay, so give that a go. Oh, gosh, those messages have jumped right forward there. Just a second there. Where have they all gone then? That's strange. It all jumped right forward. And I've lost all the ones at the top there. Okay, I'll switch over to that one, which means I might not get them all. We'll just have to go with it. Good morning to Kathy Conquest Forsyth-Smith. Good morning. Good morning, my darling. Wayne Human. Oh, yeah, we're back on there. Wayne can't hang around this morning. Need to catch up with some chores. Come on. Chop, chop, Wayne. Get your chores done, dear. Don't hang around. You know, I've had bags of, washing sitting there for months before I bother doing it. I tell you what I do need to do. The kitchen floor. I ain't done that for weeks. The kitchen, I find them so boring doing these things. Kitchen floor. I started cleaning the kitchen on Sunday, where the worktop is. At one end, there's like spice rack, electric tin opener, which is fantastic. Took me a while to get used to working that though. I couldn't get it to work. Got electric tin opener at that end. In the middle is a sink, and on the other side is the microwave. So on the left-hand side of the sink, I moved everything, cleaned it all, put it all back, and then I gave up. I might do a little bit more today. They're my chores. Good morning to Roy Brownlow joining us this morning. Gustav, as soon as Royston is first, it means he wins the competition matching pen and mat. There's no prizes. Here, Roy's telling you, there are no prizes. I'm sorry. There's no prizes to give away. And the more you ask, the less you will get. The more, every time someone says, is there a prize? It goes back another year. There won't be anything now for at least 20 years in prizes. Thank you very much. Morning to Michael Pullman. In sunny Australia. We were watching the news this morning, actually. It was a news item on Australia telling us how hot it was there. How hot, and the fires, and every year it gets hotter. God knows what it'd be like in Australia in like 20 years' time. Don't know how you'll be able to cope with it all. Really. Katie Ann Patterson. Good morning, Katie. My sister should be at work at Gary's house, doing the cleaning. Come on, get on with it, Sharon. Dear me, that's my sister Sharon there. Look how messy those shelves are. Yes, they are, actually. Do you mean the ones over there? Hang on, I'll bring that up. 2, isn't it? Yes. Do you mean these ones here? Well, it doesn't matter. You can't see them, can you? It doesn't matter, Roy. You come round and clean them for me. I'm looking for a cleaner, Roy. Do you want a little part-time job, lovey? You seem to sit at home doing nothing other than watching rubbish like this. Huh? Hello, Shania. Shania's at work. She's going to catch up later. Hope you're having pancakes today. Do you know, I haven't got any in. I must admit, last year I cheated with the pancakes and they tasted better. I bought those ones you put in the microwave, and that's terrible. They come in a packet. You simply cut round the packet, shove them in the microwave like 30 seconds, and they're lovely. That works very well for me. Thank you, Shania. No mess. No dropping pancakes on the floor or oil all over the place. Just comes out of a packet. Dear me. There is Shrove Tuesday today. Shrove Tuesday, yes. Craig, I'm giving up on the missus for Lent. Good idea, Craig. Move out, mate. No, better still, move her out. Move her out into something cheap like a travel lodge, or even better, a tent. That'd be even cheaper. Buy yourself a tent from Millets. They're only about 40 quid. Shove her in there for 40 days and 40 nights. 40 days and 40 nights. That's a hymn somewhere. Morning to Elizabeth. Good morning, Elizabeth. First time with us today, I think. Welcome along. She makes pancakes. Yeah, well, I love them. I've got to get some today. I think Ronnie's coming over for lunch a little bit later on. He's just popped to the hospital. He's got his cough back. Yes. after those 3 or 4 days he spent in hospital last week with loads of antibiotics and all that, they thought he was better. He's gone back. He's got the cough back now. He's only going in today to have some sort of checkup done, and I think he's got samples of what comes up. Oh dear. Oh no, horrible thought. So he's at the hospital at the moment, but I think he's coming around a little bit later to see us. So I will get some pancakes in, absolutely. Elizabeth, I should come round to your house. You can make me pancakes there with lemon and sugar. That's how I have mine, lemon and sugar. I tend not to put stuff in them. I know some people put jam in, don't they? Or even honey. You can do savoury pancakes as well, like a bit of mince or something in there, can't you? Fold them over like that. Or cheese. No, I have sweet pancakes. Oh, lovely. Lemon and sugar. And I cheat with the lemon as well. Plastic bottle. Isn't it terrible? Ah, we can't be doing squeezing lemons. It takes forever. Who is Lent? Lent is when you give up something for Lent. Good morning to Ben. Hello, Ben. You never turned up, dear. You were supposed to come to my karaoke on Friday. Mind you, probably a good job you didn't if you wanted to talk to me, because I just didn't have time. It's really busy in there on a Friday, I'm afraid, Ben. So good morning to you. You're talking to someone there, Craig. Okay. Ashley, when will you be working for Radio 1 Extra, Chris? You must be having a laugh, Ashley. I hate the music. All that blooming banging and going on. I fell out of modern music round about 2005 when, should we say, the harder side of R&B came in. I like dance. I like dance, house, anything like that. So I don't think they'll be having me on Radio 1 Extra. Besides, I've given up almost all the DJing. Funnily enough, I turned down another job yesterday. That was the 60s and 70s. Someone wanted a 60s and 70s night. And I thought, do you know what? I can't be bothered to do it. And if I can't be bothered, then I don't want to do it. And I wouldn't enjoy doing it. And I don't think DJing is something you should be doing, or any sort of entertainment thing, if you don't really want to do it. If you're doing it for the money, okay, or doing it for a job, so to speak, without actually enjoying it, I don't think it comes across. I really don't. I mean, you can tell I sit here, you can tell I enjoy doing this, can't you? And it's not even a job. This is like a hobby. It's a hobby. You know, like some of you lads have got your electric train sets. Some of the girls might be, I don't know, doing makeup or gardening or cooking. You know, unless you want to be gender fluid, then you too can drive a train or clean a toilet or do open heart surgery. Doesn't matter, you know, whatever you want to do is a hobby. This is a hobby. It's a hobby. Hobby, which I hope comes across that I enjoy doing it. Christopher Ireland, good morning, young Christopher. The post of the toilet sign in local rep theatre has gone viral. Oh yeah, there's a post. That's right. I saw on Christopher Ireland's Facebook wall yesterday, someone's put a post on a toilet saying, these toilets are gender neutral. Please use either, or something like that. And I thought, well, why even bother putting that on there? Just remove the male and female and make them unisex. You don't have to put that on a toilet. Just put toilet. You don't have to, you know, appeal to everyone. You don't have to make yourself liked by putting some stupid sign like that on there. Just put toilet. There's a lot of toilets that are unisex. You go in places. On the subject of male and female toilets, certainly in gay pubs where I've worked for years and years and years, and clubs, generally anyone uses anyone's toilet. Doesn't bother us. What's the difference? And I'm actually of that opinion. Why have we got male and female toilets? I don't get it. Don't make any difference. It's still a toilet. Okay, I've never been keen on urinals. Oh, no, dear. Standing there while several other people are standing next to you, looking down. Pervs, dear, pervs. I don't like urinals. I usually go in a little toilet and close the door behind me. It's true. Oh, yes. I'm very, very funny with toilets. I don't let anyone use my toilet upstairs here. That is my personal toilet. Guests come up. Can I just pop upstairs? No, use the one down there. There's a lock. There's a lock on that one. I should have that biometric display on it or something like that. You know, so that I look into a camera with one eye and it goes, woo, and then the door opens and it won't open for anyone else. Very, very funny with toilets. Showers are another thing altogether. Why, oh why, sports centres have mixed showers, I do not know. That don't make sense to me at all. You cannot take all your clothes off in a mixed shower. Or maybe we should. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that, shouldn't we? Isn't it funny? If we did that, I guarantee you none of the blokes would complain about women in the showers. But the women would... That's sexist, that is. Sexism, dear. The women hate to see our beautiful bodies. And let's be honest, lads, there's not a single bloke on this show today who hasn't got a nice body, except Roy Brownlow. Kathy, I need you to entertain me. I'm locked in my bedroom with the dog. Does the dog want to sing today? Let's see. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow. I like to make dogs howl. They howl, don't they? Roy says, my Mr. Messy shelves tidy up. No, they're perfectly all right like that. I don't tidy. It's all right for you, Roy. You got someone to tidy for you. I've got no one here, dear. Even the cat used to walk around doing nothing when she was alive. Never mind. Katie, Melbourne, very sad. I have family there where they've got the heat at the moment. It's awful, isn't it? Oh, sorry. Kathy says, they are fitting a new boiler, so it's easier than trying to keep him out of the way. What, the husband? Oh, dear. Craig, if you're doing it for the money or you're lucky. I agree. Mine is a hobby of love for the music. The commercial radio won't pay. You see, it's all about doing it for the love. DJing and entertainment, things like that. Good morning to JP this morning, joining us there. Good morning, JP. Welcome along to our little show. Yesterday, my mirror got knocked off my car. Oh, yes. So I got to work yesterday. The journey was okay last night, actually, until I got to the Euston Road. And then you're crawling through this damn road once again. Anyway, so I got to work. Now, I can't park outside the pub until 6:30. So on a Monday night, I tend to get there sometime between 6 and 6:30. I can't leave later because I might get stuck. So I have to leave at the earliest. Do you see what I mean? Which is I leave here to get there at 6:30 at 4:30. 4:30 in the afternoon, I leave here. There's always bad traffic leaving Bracknell. I know as early as 4:30 in the afternoon. And it's a set of lights that do it. Here in Bracknell, it's a set of lights just before you get to the M3. So there's a road called the A322, I think it is, or A329, I can't remember now, which is the road coming out of Bracknell to the M3, okay? Right at the end of that road, near the end of that road, there's a set of lights. And that is what holds up all the traffic. I don't know why, but it does. So 4:30 I leave here, and then I get so far down this damn road, and then I'm sitting there in the traffic for 10 minutes while I'm trying to get to the motorway. And you get to the motorway. If you're lucky, people use the lane that goes left straight onto the motorway, no stopping. Idiots, wrong word, idiots who don't understand roundabouts stop at that point where you turn left straight onto it. And there is no line. You know, this is a lane for us to just keep going. And they stop. Oh, it's so annoying. I don't waste of time beeping because that makes no answer. So you've literally got to stop behind it. And then the bloke behind you will start beeping you like it's your fault. Anyway, I've noticed that people seem to have lost the understanding of roundabouts in this country. Have you noticed that? They literally come straight across half the time. You know, you've got to keep your eyes open. You give way to the right, not the left. If the right is clear, you carry on. Now, the people on the left should be waiting for you, but that's not always happening now, especially with these blasted Priuses, Uber drivers. They have no idea whatsoever what they're doing. Absolutely no idea. And people do seem to have lost the idea of roundabouts. Anyway, so I've come into London. The clock in front of me is telling me 6:15, okay? So I've got to pull in a little bit further down. It's a straight road that I park on, I say. So I've come round and then come back round, and then there's the straight road, look at the clock, only 6:15, can't park yet. So I literally have to pull over out of view of a camera. Literally. Where I park, there is a camera right there. So I can't park at the time Anyway, you know, I can't even get out the car sort of 25 past 6 and think to myself, well, you know, if I'm lucky, a traffic warden won't appear. No, there's a camera there. You cannot park before that time. So I pull over onto this, on the left this time, out of view of a camera behind another car, which is in a residence parking space. Right, because I'm not allowed to park in a residence parking space. If you are a resident, you got a ticket, then you can. So I just simply park behind that car and that's it. Indicator on, so that tells the camera that there's someone still in the car, right? And I'm sitting there, and it's about 28 minutes past 6, and all of a sudden I heard this Addison Lee sort of minibus type thing comes past me and knocks my bloody mirror off. Ah, oh, I heard a crack. What was that? And I noticed my mirror was bent back by that. And I looked in the road, and there's that bit of plastic that's on the back. I don't know what it's called. You know, you got the mirror. There's a bit of coloured plastic on the back. That was on the floor in the road. Oh, dear. Of course, he didn't stop. I could have, at that point, you know, followed him, and I thought, oh, it's just the back of the mirror. It'll probably be all right. And it was, to be honest. I got out. Fortunately, there wasn't another car coming along the other way to run over it, but I picked it up and I looked at it, and it didn't seem to be broken in any way, shape or form. So I thought I'll put that back on. Now it's not a massively wide road. It's wide enough, you know, if you can drive. Obviously, this Addison Lee bloke couldn't drive, so it's wide enough if you can drive. And I'm trying to put this thing. Oh, I can't put it on, can I? And it only clips on. It looks like you just push it on and it clips on. I'm trying to push this thing on. And, of course, every time I open the door a bit and then another car comes, you've got to close the door. I thought, I'll do it tomorrow. I can't be bothered with it. And I got back in the car, waited another 2 minutes, 6:30 came round and I'm straight out. Now, at this point, you've got to move quickly, right? Because they can be other cars doing exactly... There's only 3 parking spaces outside the pub. On a Saturday night, forget it. On a Saturday night, I park somewhere completely different round the corner because I can't. Those 3 spaces are taken. Usually, 9 times out of 10, maybe more than that, but 9 3/4 times out of 10 on a Friday night, I can park there. On a Monday, generally, I can always park there. Right, so that's how it works. 6:30 comes. You've got to move quickly. Sometimes a minute or so early. I never do it more than a minute earlier. So 6:29, I'm out and park straight away. Now, all 3 parking spaces were empty, so I'm straight in there and got in there. But very annoying that mirrors being knocked off your car and no one stopped. He didn't stop. You know, twice actually. There's only 2 occasions that I've ever clipped a mirror, and on both occasions I've stopped. Once was in central London, near a pub called the City of Quebec, where I used to do a karaoke there. And I'm just parking up, and it was a bit tight there, and you know you've got to swing in, and there's not much room. I just went, I'll just clip this cut, and I looked in the mirror. Oh, it's a bloody Rolls, isn't it? It's a Rolls Royce. And I thought, oh Christ! So I've pulled in, and I've gone back, and he's sitting in there, and he's opened the window and looked at me. Looks at me like, you know how they looked at me like that. I said, I'm ever so sorry. Is there any damage to your mirror at all? No problem at all. Just send me the bill and I'll pay for that. And he said, that's okay, mate. He said, no problem at all. He said, most people wouldn't have stopped. We really appreciate you stopping. No need to do anything. So that's fine. And the other time I was overtaking on, and that was narrow, but there were 2 lanes, you see. There were 2 narrow lanes. And I've overtaken. I've clipped this car there. Oh, Christ. Anyway, I've got stuck in the queue of traffic, jumped out of the car, run back to the car, and the window's done up, and there was this bloke, and he looks really angry. And he opened the window. I said, look, I'm really sorry, mate. Is there any damage at all? I'll pay for that. Just get away from my car before I knock your head off. You try and do the right thing, don't you? So I did. I went. Quickly as possible. Ghastly people, absolutely ghastly people. So that was my journey to the job last night. It was Maureen's birthday last night, so that was nice. Maureen's birthday, we had a nice little pink princess cake for her, which I had a decent slice of, I must say. Oh, she's not tight with those slices of cake. Thank you very much, Maureen. Most people, they have their birthdays and they give you the thinnest slice of cake you could possibly imagine, dear. But she gave me a nice chunk of cake and some sandwiches and crisps, as she usually does. And it was really nice for Maureen's birthday last night. So that was good. Let's have a look. We had a nice lot of singers in there last night. A couple of singers I haven't seen for a long time. They tend to turn up just once a year or once every few months. So they were there last night. And that was good as well. Let's have a look here. Roy, never seen me. I'm fit as solid man boobs, 6-pack. I make young fatties like you feel ashamed. Boxing coaches always look good. I think I am a young fatty. You're absolutely right, Roy. Kathy doesn't have a husband. They are too much of a pain. Oh, tell me about it, love. You're much better off on your own, darling. As I said before, I mean, I don't know about you, Kathy. Presumably you sleep alone. Isn't it fantastic sleeping alone? Even my mate last night, he said, oh, Andy's on a late night work today, so I've got the bed to myself, so I'm going to make the most of it. A lot of people you speak to that, they sleep with their husbands, wives, partners, whatever, and they're always moaning about the fact that they have to sleep next to someone. Well, don't then. Get 2 beds. Simple as that. Oh, I can't bear it. Can't bear anyone in that bed. Only my monkey, Jack. Jack the monkey sleeps with me. Good morning, Joanna. Hello, lovely Joanna. All right? Hope you're well this morning. We are a bit late today. Yes, we're a little bit late today due to lateness in getting up. So here we go. Here we go. So for my Lent, what am I giving up this Lent? Here we go. Now, Maureen, I have to... Sorry, Maureen. You won't like this because you spend time doing my sandwiches, which I do appreciate, but it's Lent, and I must stick to my Lent things. Crisps out the window. Last night on the way home, I was very bad. I had to pop into the garage to buy some blueberries. I'd run out of blueberries for my breakfast. And it was a Marks and Spencer's garage, and they do the most delicious honey ham flavoured crisps. Suitable for vegetarians. There's no ham in there. Honey ham flavoured crisps or honey roast crisps. Something like that they are. Marks and Spencer's. Absolutely delicious. I had those on the way home. The whole bag. Such a fat pig I am. They were absolutely delicious. But that all has to stop. No crisps for Lent. Cross that out. No bread for Lent. Not allowed bread for Lent. I'm giving it up tomorrow. No sweets for Lent, no chocolate, nothing at all. The only sweets I will have is the lemon sherbet things, hard-boiled sweets that I have in my car, and they're only in there for when I get heartburn. You may think to yourself, well, how can a sweet stop heartburn? It seems to do so for me. You know, if you start having that nasty acid coming up, I just pop one of those hard-boiled, and I think it's just the fact that you've got something going down your throat all the time. Could be any sort of sweet, really, to be honest. I got sent some lovely maple syrup-flavoured sweets from Glenda, who watches the show. She's in Pittsburgh. They are I think it was you sent them, wasn't it, Glenda, for my birthday? I've got to say they're absolutely delicious. I think I've still got some left, but they're at the caravan. They are so nice. I've never seen those here. Maple syrup sweets. They're hard-boiled ones, and they're just nice, like lemon, but maple syrup. Very nice. So sweet. And also ice cream. No ice cream. So there we are. Sweets, incidentally, includes chocolate. So for Lent, I'm giving up crisps, bread, sweets, and ice cream. All things that I absolutely love. And also the whipping. We've got to do the whipping as well. Whipping. Ow, that blooming hurt. Oh, it's supposed to, sorry. There we are. Doing whipping as well, and that's it. That's my Lent stuff. So thank you very much, Maureen. I'm not allowed any sandwiches or crisps or sweets now, my darling. I must suffer. We must suffer. That's it. Anyone else giving up anything for Lent? I see none of you moaning that. None of you are giving up anything for Lent, are you? Terrible. You will all go to hell, and that's what will happen. Katie sleeps with her dogs. Very sensible, my darling. But even they can take up the bed, can't they? My mate's cat, one of my mate's cats, Vuitton, he's the one that had the brain tumour removed. Okay? And he's a bit different since he had that brain tumour removed. I have to tell you, well, he likes getting in the bed. Literally in the bed. Now, I had a cat. I used to have my cats in bed. Actually in the bed with me. Oh, it's lovely. purring away, and there they are next to you. There's something very nice about having your pet in bed. Some people, oh, you shouldn't have your pets in bedroom. Well, you know, if you can, you can. I can't, unfortunately, because it give my terrible asthma, which came on later. I didn't always have it. It came on later due to animal fur. That's the main cause of it. I rarely get asthma now, only at my sister's house, and it's really bad there. Really bad. I have to leave the house often, you know. And she swears blind it's nothing to do with the pets, but I know it is. That's just how it is, unfortunately. And his cat's been sleeping within the bed, but he's all right at first, and then he starts getting really hot and hisses and spits at my mate. So he has to get out of the bed then. Katie, my Great Dane, she takes up all the beds. And they push you over, don't they, the pets? When you start wanting a bit more space, they push you over with their paws. Like they take over. My cat, Tiny, she was the first cat I had. My son bought her for me for a birthday present. I think my 25th or 26th birthday, something like that it was. And cat, Tiny, she's not with us anymore. She got to about 20 years old, I think, or 21. And she would get in the bed. Absolutely, she would climb in the bed. How marvellous is that? Let's have a look. Kathy used to sleep with her 15-year-old dog, but he then weed on it, so he now sleeps in the kitchen. Oh no! Can you imagine that, being in the bed and your pet has a wee at night while it's in the bed? Oh no, I can't be having any of that. Quick shower, that'll sort it out. Katie said they would kill me. No ice cream. I know. No ice cream. Katie wouldn't be able to cope. It's only for 40 days. That's just over a month. I've got to give those things up. It will do a lot for my weight problem as well. Roy, why you only live once? Given up. My Chris addiction here. Chris addiction. Craig, I stopped the missus sleeping with the dog as dog hair, but she still takes her rampant rabbit. I think I know what a rampant rabbit is. We're not going to discuss such terrible things on this programme, please, if you don't mind me saying so. All right. Got back from from work. Then I watched Ambulance. It's an old programme, actually. I've got a lot of old stuff on the recording machine that I've got. And this was from November last year, Ambulance. And there was a homeless man, 27 years old, 27 years old. He was chucked out of his home ages ago, and he was chucked out of his shelter. Apparently he was in a homeless shelter. We don't know why he was chucked out, and they didn't go into that. But he tried to kill himself by jumping in a river, and of course it was freezing cold. And they've got him in the ambulance. It's incredibly sad. Incredibly sad to see someone that young who felt there's nothing for him, so he's just jumped in the river. Anyway, of course they've rescued him. He's in the back of the ambulance. Now let me get this right. His something temperature. Would it be core temperature? Yes, core temperature. His core temperature was very low, and they were concerned about him, and he's connected to a couple of machines in the ambulance, and then suddenly one of the machines starts bleeping, and he kind of falls asleep. And they're trying to, and they can't wake him up. And they've rung ahead, and they've done a pulse, and it's still beating. The heart is still beating, and it must have been something, I suppose, to do with the terrible cold. You know, they got the metal foil blanket type things around him. Terrible, really. Really, how some people are. Funnily enough, well, it's not funny, you know, but you know what I mean. I was going, where was it? I took a slightly different route home last night for some reason, I think. Gosh, I can't remember where this is now. Euston, it was along the Euston Road. And I went through... Oh, I can't remember. I went past a building last night in the centre of London. It might have been along the Euston Road. It was a white building. It was a white building, possibly shops or something like that. And anyway, underneath, I kind of glanced to the left, and I thought, well, there's a load of rubbish outside there. It wasn't rubbish. It was lots of duvets and people sleeping in. There must have been 15 of them. 15 duvets all lined up like that. And people are sleeping them outside. Underneath like something in a shop doorway. Like a long shop or offices or something like that. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it was just on the end of the Euston Road. Somewhere near the end of the Euston Road. Just before the flyover takes off. Isn't it terrible? It's terrible. But it also has to be said that I've seen programmes on the telly where people go around, possibly from shelters or places like that want to help people, and they go to some of these. Not all of them. Some of them take up the offer. But other people refuse the offer. They don't want to go into a shelter. Some of them say it's full of drugs and they don't want to get involved in all that sort of thing, when you can understand that. Can't you? But how would I know? I've been so lucky to never be homeless. You know, it's just incredibly sad. And anyway, so this homeless man was on there last night, and I don't know what happened to him in the end, because they didn't come back to the story. You know, usually they come back to the story at the end of it. So that was the ambulance program, and there was a young alcoholic on there as well. His mum had called the ambulance out. And she was saying that he'd tried to kill himself before about 10 years ago. He'd been an alcoholic and he got off it. And he was on it again, and he said, when I was at my lowest, I had 120 cans in 3 days. 120 cans of lager in 3 days. That is going it some, isn't it? And they took him away, and he's crying in the ambulance, and they promised to get him some help. And the ambulance staff are fantastic, aren't they? They're always kind. They always come across as kind. I think I've called out once an ambulance. That was about 10 years ago. It was about 10 years ago. And for some reason, I'd had a bit of a shock, actually. And my asthma thing, I was breathing, I had trouble breathing. My asthma thing didn't seem to be working. It was about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and eventually I thought, I better ring up the ambulance. I can't breathe here. And he come round, and he was very nice and that. And they gave me that mask thing and done that, and then everything was all right. And actually, I think it was the fact that I had someone to talk to that made it all right. I'm not so sure it was that. I think it was a panic attack. Because I'd had some news, you know, so I had this panic attack. And that affects your breathing as well. Panic attacks. I don't know if you've ever had one. You know, it's difficult as the person having the panic attack. You don't know if your lungs are about to give out or it's a panic attack. You know, it's very difficult to tell. But a doctor, they will ask you questions and they will know, you see, whether or not something's going on like that. But the ambulance bloke come round here and fantastic. So calming the way that they talk to you. So it's a good programme, Ambulance. It's not on at the moment. I don't know if it's on one of those channels. I do like the medical programmes on the telly, don't you? There's Ambulance. There's another one, 999 Emergency, and they follow ambulance crews around. And the wonderful hard work that they do. You know, and sometimes these people themselves are in incredible danger trying to deal with people. Yeah, they get attacked. How can anyone attack an ambulance person? I don't get it. Or like, you know, they might have their little ambulance outside a block of flats. They go up, come back down, and someone's robbed the bloody ambulance. It's just trashy people everywhere, isn't there? Just trashy people everywhere. Hello to Paul and Lou. Good morning, Paul and Lou. I sleep with Lou. That's enough for me. Her fat ass farting all night. Oh, poor Lou. Does she know you come on here and talk about her like that? I'm going to send her a private message and tell her. Ain't it terrible? You can tell she's at work. Yeah, that's right. Paul says she claimed I farted and snored really loud. I don't believe till she recorded me. Couldn't do that years ago. He got caught. Trying to let out a silent one. You see, I can be as noisy as I want in that, but really loud. I open the windows to let everyone hear them. I love it, dear. Farting in bed. But I couldn't bear anyone else to be farting in bed. Dreadful. Here's Craig here, talking about the ambulancing. Craig says we do a lot with homeless and mental health. We are so lucky. Life can change so quickly. Oh, it can, Craig. It can. And how many people, I'm sure, we're generally all of a bit of an age here, aren't we? How many people have you heard that you say, all right, bye-bye, and the next time, they're dead? Next day, next week, an hour later, they're just going about their business, dead. You don't know when that is going to come. It can happen so... Look at Tommy Cooper on the stage. Drop down dead on the stage in the middle of his act. You never know when it's coming. You never know, do you? You really don't. Craig says we need more empathy. And that is lacking these days. Empathy. But also, I tell you what is also on the rise. People who seek attention. People who seek it. I'm not fit. We used to hide things. Don't you think we used to hide stuff a lot? I don't remember my mum or dad really talking about when they were ill, or they just got on with it. I like to think I'm the same. I tend to just get on with it, really. You know, I like to carry on doing the things that I love. I like to carry on doing this even if I'm ill. So then, you know, it's obvious that there's something wrong. But these people are, I don't, I'll cut my finger. I can't cut. Oh, don't be so pathetic. But yeah, empathy. We are lacking empathy nowadays. I think so. Roy, a lot of homeless can't stand rules, so won't go into a shelter. A lot are better off on the streets, free food and clothes. I don't know. I mean, I've never been homeless. We can't really say that, Roy, can we? We don't know. We don't know. We're not homeless. Katie, we have homeless in my little town. It's very sad. It's all over the place now. All over the place. Generally, they're in city centres and towns, you know, sitting outside. But the trouble is, you know, if you do want to help them by giving them money or something like that, I never give them money. I have before bought a sandwich or a drink and handed that down. I never, ever give money to homeless because you don't know what they might be spending it on, drugs or drink again, you know. That's just how it is. Want the money for the drink. And then there are the professional homeless who actually are, they seem to look the same. Professional homeless, they'll have coats on. If it's the women, they'll have like a scarf on. They all look the same. I don't know what possesses them to think that we might not think that they're up to something. You know the sort, don't you? They're in the street, maybe a dog with 3 legs or something like that. It's almost like they've chopped a dog's leg off to look like that. I'm pretty good at sussing people out. A proper homeless person is an old bloke with a beard in a really old coat, wrapped up, lying on a bench somewhere with no hat to collect money, nothing around them, no sign saying I'm homeless, please help, nothing like that. They look homeless. And there are the professional homeless who are probably not homeless. But not everyone, you know, sometimes it can be difficult to tell. Is that person homeless? Do I want to help them? Or are they actually got a house around the corner and they're just collecting money? Very, very difficult. And I think there's gangs as well out there, you know. Gangs that run these homeless people. It's terrible, really. We should help homeless people, but as I say, it's difficult to ascertain who is actually homeless and who isn't. Michael, as a young teenager, 16 to 17, I was homeless, but I was put into a youth shelter. It was a short stay until I got my own place. What was that like in the youth shelter? What was that like, Michael? Was that an unpleasant experience, or was it okay? Did it just do? Is it somewhere that you'd want to go back to? Or is it somewhere that you would never, ever want to go back to, you know, even if you was on your last legs? Katie said, I had a homeless man break into the house next door. Police kicked him out. Yeah. Was it an empty house? That's the other thing we have in London. You know, lots of empty places. Flats, well, not even flats, flatlets, executive flatlets that very rich people have bought, you know, £500,000, £600,000, £700,000 plus. And they've bought these posh flats. Well, you know, it's their money. They can do what they want with their own money. But they've got these posh flats in London, Vauxhall area, places like that. And they don't live there. They've simply bought them to wait for them to go up in value and sell them. That's capitalism. But it seems incredibly sad that there are people on the street homeless when there are empty flats everywhere. It just seems ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And people, here, I have 3 bedrooms here. It's only me. Only me. That kind of is wrong to me. I tell my mate that, you know, I feel sometimes guilty, the fact that I've got a 3-bedroom downstairs. It's only me. He said, yeah, but you've worked for it. Yeah, but it doesn't make me feel any better, the fact that I've got this, and yet there was homeless people out there. Could I move one in? No, I couldn't. I don't think I could live with anyone again. It'd just do my head in. Noise. I'm sure those of you that live on your own possibly feel the same. You do feel guilty. What do you do about it? Nothing. You know, but there's a lot of people out there who live on their own. And once you've lived on your own for a while, I'm sure he's not with us this morning. Ray Reynolds, of course. And other people like that. I don't know who is on your own, but I don't think you could live with anyone again once you've been on your own for so long. It's very, very difficult. Yes, Katie says it was an empty house. Yeah, so there we are. Craig, there was a bloke up north used to catch train from London and beg. They followed him. He had a massive house up north and another in New York who was a millionaire. See? Unfortunately, it's difficult to tell. Also, crime gangs with vans, it's really hard to know. It is. Craig was in a homeless shelter as well, and he never wishes to go back. Fortunately, he hasn't, but he'll never forget it. So there we are. I don't know how we got into the subject of homelessness there, but that's what we do on the show. We go from one thing to another, don't we? And all is good. All is good. Okay, let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. First of all, it's Adam's mum's birthday. Good morning to Adam's mum. I'm so sorry, my darling. I don't know your name. The fool didn't tell me your name, but nevertheless, happy birthday to Adam's mum this morning. Matt Burton, I think you're a DJ, aren't you, Matt? I stopped the DJing a couple of years ago now, but nice to see you on there. I think that probably your little boy, or is that a little boy there? Yeah, a little boy you're cuddling up to there. So happy birthday to Matt. Happy birthday to John Paul Gargaro, 32 years old today. Good morning, John. Hope I got your name right there. Happy birthday. David Robson is 35 years old today. He's a DJ. I met him in heaven when I was DJing, and he's gone on to DJing himself, and he's doing very well. Good morning, David. 35. Oh, you're so old now, dear. Old. Darrell Lavelle. Good morning, Darrell. Happy birthday to you. Clifford Clark is 53 years old today. Declan Cripps is 39 years old on this Tuesday. And Andrew Barton. Good morning, Andrew. Happy birthday to you as well. When are you coming to sing at the karaoke again, Andrew? Happy birthday, sir. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. All singing on this programme is especially for the delightful Joanna. Just to finish off there, Michael says, I'd never step foot in a youth shelter full of drugs and sharing criminals. I felt threatened. So there we are. That's what it's like in a youth centre where Michael is there in Australia. Katie, I couldn't live with someone. I don't do people. That's what I tell them. I'm the same as you, Katie. Isn't that funny? I don't do people. I find people rude and offensive. I do. I'm quite happy to just sit in my little studio here talking at a camera. So much more interesting talking to you than normal people out in the street. Because none of us are normal, are we? A couple of texts coming through there, boys and girls. Let's just do those. Simon says... Oh, yes, that story I told you yesterday about the burglar broke into someone's house and sucked her toes. Burglar broke in and sucked her toes. Hope he washed them first. How weird. Some burglars broke into my ex-girlfriend's house and stole her antidepressants. Well, I hope they're happy now. Simon. What else has he got here? Reference, 1 minute now. Gemma Collins stalker. Oh my God, it's her ex from The Only Way Is Thick. That's true. The Only Way Is Thick. On Valentine's Day, she asked her thick boyfriend, Arj, or as I call him, IRGE, to get her something with diamonds in. So he bought her a pack of cards. Very good. Nice to finish on a little light note there. Alrighty, that's it for the show today. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Got a little bit serious there at the end there, didn't we? Roy said I worked with a homeless support group, my job. Security to protect them from attacks from drugged people. Gosh, what a world we live in. What a world we live in, don't we, eh? Terrible, really. And that's why I listen to Scala Radio. To forget the world for a while. Thanks ever so much for joining us on the show this morning, boys and girls. We were a little bit late today. It's just one of those things. You know the show is not scheduled. It can appear at any time. So make sure your subscribe button on YouTube is checked so that you'll get a little bleep when there's a show, or on Facebook Live as well. Have your little subscribe or follow button there checked so you get a bleep when we do a show. Have a lovely Tuesday, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye now.